Yeah, Septic Tank actually brought that up on the forums. I mean, in the flurry of everything else going on, people talking about the followers and their opinions on it. He actually made a little post about stuff he just noticed, and he noticed the rainbow was gone from the waterfall in the background, and color scheme was different, which brought my attention to it. And also the different swampland zones and whatnot.
Yeah, you can also tell that little patch of overgrowth on the bridge itself is different in the two
Mm-hmm.
pictures. And there's actually an archway down at the base that's completely different.
Now, one thing that we did notice in the video, as far as a small little detail, is that in one of the swampland shots, if you're following along with the video, and we'll put this clip into the YouTube version, it's at 50. It's about 50, 54, 55 seconds in. There's a dungeon entrance, and off to the
Mm-hmm.
upper left hand side of the screen is while they're fighting the giant
Blob.
winged, like a shoggoth, basically.
Sack of
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Nasty.
So now, whether or not we're seeing sort of a story transitional moment, or if this is one of the just one of the
Dungeon
random
entrances.
extra side areas, is up in the air, but it could be either. So I'm kind of thinking that this might actually be one of the storyline ones, and so we're seeing a bit of the transition here. I think, and I'm going to put my guess out, and I'm willing to eat crow over this. I think we're going to start in the desert, move into the sort of monastery type, English countryside area, into the swamp, down into the dungeon. That's my guess for the transition.
Seems pretty sound to me.
It'll be interesting to see anyway
Yeah,
you cut
definitely. Dude, some of these screenshots are awesome.
it. Yeah, they really are.
We'll be posting these both in the video feed and on the blog, so you can check them out. I got them all from a press kit that I got from Diablo INC Gamers. Flux posted it, and I'll throw a link up in the show notes on YouTube and on the blog if you want to download that from them, because I'm not about hijacking links and whatnot. So yeah, there's some cool shots. So be sure and check those out. What else we got? Let's talk about the skill system for the mercenaries or followers. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
so followers. So they get 3 skills to choose from, unlocked starting at level 5, which makes me think like how you must really get some of these really early, or they start with like 1 tier unlocked already, depending on what level it is. Because like level 5, so 5, 10, 15, and 20. And now it doesn't go higher than that because it is important to note that they're not really supposed to be that useful past normal difficulty. If anyone's wondering why it doesn't go further all the way up to 60. So, starting with the Enchantress, her first tier is Disorient, Forceful Push, and Charm. Seems like all 3 of them are crowd control skills.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll
have screenshots up of these skills because I think they play in the video very quickly, but I'll take screen caps of them.
Yeah. So tier 2, we got Decoy, Reflect Missiles, and Powered Armor. Powered Armor, I don't know if I'd even want her taking damage. I don't want her face getting wrecked.
Hello.
Tier 3. Hello. Tier 3, we got Focus Mind, Monk's favorite, Amplify Damage and Lower Resistance. Nice. Lower Resistance. I like the lower resistance. That's a nice Necro Curse going on there.
Amplify Damage.
Or the Paladin Aura. I guess they. Tier 4, Energize, Energy Bomb, and Guidance. And all 3 of those sound pretty slick to me.
Leonard Boyarsky actually commented specifically on the Energy Bomb, said it was his favorite.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that she'd basically cast it whenever you hit a certain low hit point mark, I think. So it was kind of a specialty deal. Like, you don't actually control the actions of any of them because, it makes the gameplay too cluttered, but they will essentially cast whatever they have at specific times depending on what their AI is programmed to do. So that's very important to note, that they're not just casting things continuously.
All willy-nilly.
That's right.
Nice. So when you hit something and it's low HP, she'll trigger her to cast Energy Bomb on that target, eh?
Well, actually, from what I understand, I think it's when your HP reaches a certain point. Like it's a last ditch effort kind of big bang effect.
Oh, okay.
So.
Now, Does she make this giant glowing orb over her head and like hold it till it gets to the size of like 3 planets? Oh,
Kame!
wait, that's Spirit Bomb. My bad. Never mind.
That's right. Guess is as good as mine, but if it ever happens, I think it'd be extremely disappointing in hell mode when that does nothing.
It probably kills her instead.
Just like in, season 2 when, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Back on track. Back on track.
His boot kicks it. All right, the Scoundrel.
This
Okay,
guy looks
so
go.
he's ranged, right? He uses a crossbow. So skill choices for tier 1. We got Crippling Shot, Rapid Fire, and Poison Bolt. Tier 2, Bandage, Dirty Fighting, and Scavenge. I like the sounds of Scavenge.
Does he go and yell at
Bandage
corpses
might-
and they pop out potions?
Yeah. Air pelvic thrusts at them. Tier 3, we got Power Shot, Multi-Shot, and Rain of
Ooh.
Gold. Now, contrary to what people think, Rain of Gold does not give you gold. He actually takes your gold and throws it at them.
Yay, guild boss.
Just kidding. That was the worst ability in any Final Fantasy ever. Throw your money at them. Stupid.
Golden showers for everybody.
Tier 4.
What?
Oh.
I had to go there. I'm sorry. Continue.
Tier 4, we got Anatomy, Black Market, and Vanish. Now, those actually sound cool. I mean, Vanish is, Ninja Vanish. I'm sure he just disappears or whatever. Anatomy makes me, what's he gonna do?
I think it's probably going to be something like a crit buff kind of deal.
Maybe. Or maybe he actually dissects a guy right in front of you. Pulls his heart.
Just does a little bit of experimental physiology right there. Out in the field.
Or maybe he runs around in a trench coat with nothing underneath. Supposed people do anatomy.
I was gonna say, if you see some action behind those trees, you make yourself a female wizard, and you get yourself a scoundrel of a high enough level. You're gonna see an anatomy clap.
It is an M-rated game.
Look at my dick.
Black Market. I don't know. Sounds cool.
Do spender
Now,
prices?
initially, it might.
Ninja.
Yeah, that's what I wish it did. But then who would ever use it? So like the scoundrel, you just pull him out while you're in town.
Come here. Reduce
Hey,
these
buddy,
prices.
come over here.
Intimidate this guy so I don't have to.
That's right. Okay, the Templar. His are cool.
AKA
I
the
like
Paladin.
his.
Call.
Yeah, pretty much. Tier 1, charge, heal and protection. So, yeah, the 3 of those sound really nice to me. Tier 2, guardian, intimidate, and loyalty. Also, he's got a merchant, intimidate as well. That's nice. Tier 3, intervene, which sounds awesome. Inspire and tribute. And then tier 4, we got empathy, onslaught, and knight.
Interesting.
Knight. I don't get like knight. What does he turn into a knight now? Come on.
That seems like a downgrade from a Templar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My guess on that is that it's probably going to be a kind of a shield wall type defensive ability.
Maybe he summons up a knight. Then you gotta
All I know is he summons him. I like intervene. I like the idea of that, especially if it works like the warrior one. Just come right to me, take this hit for me.
Nice.
As the siege breaker is about to bite my head off, the Templar dives in front. Eat me.
Pretty epic. And the other things that we know about all of these guys is they all have their own specific lore. The Templar, for instance, you actually rescue from a quest where he's actually betrayed by one in his own order, and so you try and help him hunt the guy down.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, the scoundrel, is basically on the run from the Thieves Guild. I guess he, double-crossed one too many people, and it's just, very straightforward and linear in that respect. And it seems like he was the most entertaining of the bunch as far as his commentary from the way that you read through the stuff talking about them. And so you're not really sure what he's after. The Templar is actually after a scroll later on, that is something that the Archbishop Lazarus got a
Ooh.
hold of. So he's got his own little priorities there, you know. And then finally, you have the Enchantress who is following someone called the Prophet. You know, very throwbacky to the story uh, from my perspective, but you know, I can only speculate on a lot of these. And so she's the most mysterious of the bunch. You don't really know what she's after, and I guess through the course of the story, you're going to figure it out. So that's kind of the skimmy on their little
Interesting.
background and quest lines.
And since you find these guys fairly early on, I imagine these will be the bulk of the first quest that you do for the game. But I imagine, I don't know, I'm hoping there's a lot more than just a few quests per act. I'm hoping there's just a ton to choose from.
Well, we already know that you unlock the majority of the artisans in Act
Mhm.
1. You get your all 3 followers in Act 1. Plus, there are the quests that we already know about in Leoric's torture chamber area. So that already puts us at like 8.
No.
Not to mention all the random side ones that are going to pop up that you can't really predict being there that aren't part of the linear story.
Yeah, don't they have like a random quest generator or event generator or some such thing?
They do, yeah.
Cool.
So
I
we're
believe yes
probably
to both.
looking at, we're probably looking at 12 to 20 quests per act.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And then when you look at the random events, they could actually change your next playthrough, so it's even that much more.
True.
Jawsome.
So now, I've got the video on loop here in front of me, and I'm just watching it as we go. And one of the things that keeps standing out to me every time we watch through it, because we talked about it a few weeks ago when we were looking at some of the art that we got, is remember we were looking at the one kind of goat man who had like the 4 horns and all of the like crazy crap. And we get to see something that very much resembles this in the gameplay here. And it's kind of a Goatman shaman type unit. It's got the 4 horns, it's got the staff, it's got a bunch of different spells. And we see it in one of those bridge screenshots that we'll be linking, the more recent one where it's standing at the end of the bridge waiting for the 2 to come up. And I just think it's really neat to kind of see that progression and finally see that in game. And it looks like it's going to be a kind of tricky unit to deal with. It seems to be causing quite a bit of problems for the characters here.
Yeah, I'm looking at. Oh, he looks cool. Oh, and that giant blob thing with wings. That thing's gross.
It's nasty.
We mentioned earlier before. It looks like it's gonna be like those little nests in Diablo 2 that just popped out. Other little smaller minions.
Oh, I hate those things.
Because he's got a bunch of little tiny bats flying around him and a giant gaping mouth for them to come out of.
Yeah, especially the first time you meet one of those things in like hell difficulty. It takes like 10.5 years to kill it.
Somebody mentioned that it was hilarious to run into a champion one of those because there would just be a group of them around.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, how they used to pop up as champions. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
So
it's like an ethereal one of them.
Nice.
Those things already take long enough to kill. Don't make them stronger.
It's still funny to me looking at these videos though.
What's that?
Fallen that are actually taller than you. I never.
Oh, those fallen soldiers, the commanders.
Giant
the
brute
commanders,
ones.
the big overseer ones.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Oh, that's
I mean, you
scary.
look at them in comparison to, in the very beginning of the video, comparative size, they're massive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, the Fallen really got beefed up in Diablo 3.
Actually, they're bigger than the barbarian.
Yeah, they're big dudes.
Yeah, there's
They got war cries too.
that's the female barbarian, but yeah, they're like a good foot taller than the female barbarian. That's a very big Fallen.